All right, hey guys, welcome back to a special episode of the Fantasy Basketball Trash Talk channel. This is my little brother, and I'm here for Thanksgiving, and we're doing a debate video. You excited about this, Mike?
I am. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great day.
That's enough of celebrating your family holiday. We're going to get into it right now. Tyrese Maxey is having a great season. Is he good or is he bad? Do you need to be holding on to Tyrese Maxey, or do you need to be selling him right now and dumping him on someone in your league who is going to just eat that garbage come playoff time? Mike, you were taking the position that he's pretty good.
Absolutely. I'm holding him, and I'm holding him dear. I think he's proven himself pretty well. He started out in a college conference in the SEC that was already tough. You knew what you saw with them. You knew what you liked with them. You look at his unique stats he's had now. His field goal percentage is great. The guy's a point guard, and he shoots over 50% games in some points.
Yeah, okay, but he's not shooting over 50% per game. He's driving to the basket and getting a layup.
But the ball is released from his fingertips, more or less, it's going in.
Okay, that's
He also
fair.
has a very low turnover rate, and I think that as a point guard with a guy that's proven he's holding the ball more than others on this team, that's pretty impressive.
I will have to admit that he's right on that. So Tyrese Maxey is in the 98th percentile for turnovers amongst players that are scoring over 18 points per game. You really can't get better than him in terms of production and low turnovers. That's a good point.
And you got to look at this. All he need is Embiid. If he gets Embiid back, once this guy is proven that he's going to drive it to the paint, he's got a big man that's proven himself in there that he's going to help him out with the assist rates.
I'll counter that. I'm not 100% sure that Embiid will increase the room that Maxey has to operate. So one of the things about the Sixers, and they're a really cool success story. Like, the Sixers have been able to stay relevant despite massive injuries, Ben Simmons being a giant bitch, and then COVID protocols. So one of the reasons why they've been able to be so good is because Tyrese Maxey is a little reminiscent of Allen Iverson when it comes to attacking the paint. So they play 4 out, they spread the floor, they set screens for Maxey, and when Maxey hits a screen, he's not hesitating. He's going full speed, and his top speed is so fast that he's just blowing by people. This sets up open shots for their shooters. Now, even though they haven't had a lot of their better players in, Philadelphia's catch-and-shoot players are elite. Danny Green is an elite catch-and-shoot player. Seth Curry is an elite catch-and-shoot player. He was outplaying his brother for parts of the game.
Maybe we just need to call Kyle Korver back, one of the great Sixer shooters.
We need to return that fax machine, and we need to get Kyle Korver on the Philadelphia 76ers. So my point is, when Embiid comes back, you're saying that's going to be good for Maxey. Embiid takes up a lot of space. And one of the reasons why the Sixers have been so good and Maxey has been so efficient is because they have those shooters spread out and they're letting Maxey go full speed. I do not know if Embiid taking up space is going to be great for Maxey's fantasy game.
I believe with Maxey driving to the paint and Embiid in the game, that Embiid will no longer let that help defender come over just to help double team Maxey on the, or a potential secondary defender block. I think Embiid's defender is going to have to stay with him, and that's going to give a one-on-one situation for Maxey, which I think he's proven that he's going to do pretty well against.
Yeah, you have his usage right here. What's your last point for usage?
So, usage rates, 21%, and low rate, you were explaining a little bit to me on the fantasy side of it.
So basically the argument that you were making is that Tyrese Maxey has done everything that he's done. He's about the 34th or 33rd best player in the game right now on low usage. So even with all those players out, even with him being the starter, he's not taking a ton of shots. He's not pounding the ball. He's actually doing things in limited opportunities, which does bear well for him to be able to keep this up. Any other points you want to make for him being good before I eviscerate this curly-haired motherfucker?
Hey, no, I think you should try to give him what you got, and I'll defend him to the best of my honor.
Okay, here we go. Tyrese Maxey is a sell high. Let me tell you why. Okay, guys. First of all, I don't think Tyrese Maxey is a bad player. I just don't think that this guy's going to go from an irrelevant rookie last year to a top 30, top 40 player. This dude is at a unsustainable role. He's literally the definition of a sell high, okay? Tobias Harris has been out with COVID protocols and hip issues. Joel Embiid has been out with chronic knee issues from carrying the weight of this franchise and also COVID protocols. Seth Curry has been out. At one point, in a game that they had earlier this week, the entire roster of contracts for the people that were playing was less than $20 million. It was just veteran minimum contracts and rookie contracts, okay? This guy is never going to get an opportunity like he's had in the first fourth of this season to have everything run through him. If you look at the advanced metrics, he's actually the 7th or 8th best player on their team in terms of plus minus. When this guy plays, he is not Philadelphia's most winning player. Very fantasy-friendly game. His game is, if we're just talking about fantasy, Tyrese Maxey is a player that is built for fantasy. But if we're talking about do the Sixers want to win, does Doc Rivers want to win? And yes, they do. Joel Embiid has got 2, maybe 3 years left on his knees. They're trying to win. And Tyrese Maxey is a worthy player of playing, but he is not more efficient than Seth Curry. He's not more efficient than Tobias Harris. So when these guys come back, his role as the number 1, number 2, number 3 option on the team is going to drop.
I don't even feel he needs to be a number 1 to be successful. I think with him averaging 18.7 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 4.6 assists, when you bring a talent like Harris back from COVID protocol, he's only going to increase probably the assist rate by, 2 to 3 because Harris is a great scorer. Yes, his points might drop a little bit, but this guy eats up a lot of good stats. He almost should be called the maxi pad, right, guys?
Oh my God, that's so bad. Michael, it's great that you point that out, but I want to bring you to my second point on why Tyrese Maxey is a sell high, and that's because he's not a great shooter, okay? This is a player that when you watch him play, he's going downhill, he's eating up space, he's taking the screen, and he's driving at the lane. When he doesn't have a drive, he's jumping in the air, and he's throwing the ball out. Philadelphia is hitting those shots.
I can't believe we're saying that he's not a great shooter with a guy named Ben Simmons on his team, though.
Well, Ben Simmons is just hot garbage, and we're going to get to Ben Simmons in a sec. In fact, you know what? You brought it up. I'm going to talk about Ben Simmons right now. Guys, we have no idea what's going to happen with Ben Simmons, just like we have no idea what's going to happen with Kyrie Irving, because this situation has never happened before. It used to be back in the day that if you hated your team, you would do something like retire and gamble for 2 years, Michael Jordan. I'm kidding. Maybe.
Or choke your coach and Charles Will.
Yeah, that did also happen. But in today's modern NBA, Ben Simmons can be completely healthy. And look, guys, mental health is a serious thing. We both care about mental health,
Very
okay?
much.
But being a bitch is not a serious thing. And Ben Simmons is just not, it's not a mental health issue. The dude, I believe that Ben Simmons is trying to take a serious thing like mental health and hide behind it because he's being a bitch. So here's the thing. Morey, the GM for the Sixers, has said crazy stuff like it might take 4 years for the Ben Simmons situation to resolve. The Sixers have played hardball. They've started finding this dude. We don't know if Ben Simmons' agent is going to get in his head and say, hey, look, if you just play for a month, I'll get you traded. He comes back. Now, guess what? The Sixers are going to play him because they need to up his trade value. So Maxey's going to go on the bench. They'll protect him. They'll put him on the end of the bench. So you don't know. There's a very high possibility. Right now, everything has gone Tyrese Maxey's way. If Ben Simmons comes back, for however long he's back, that role is going to be gone. And there's some situations, one of the rumors that came out was they wanted to trade Ben Simmons for James Harden. Now, as a Nets fan, I don't think that's going to happen. But it's a very good point. There are several players that the Sixers couldn't trade for this year that they could in the offseason. So there's several scenarios where they want to rehab his value. But also, Ben Simmons, if he is traded, they're going to bring back players for Ben Simmons.
Right.
So it could be a Damian Lillard. And now, Dame's the starting point guard, and Maxey probably can't play the two.
But it's like we talked about earlier. That situation, the only one that would truly hurt Maxey is if they traded Ben Simmons for another point guard. But if you bring in a guy that can play the two, like a Russell we've talked about. Or
D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, or C.J. McCollum. These are guys that I believe would actually increase Maxey's value in the assist realm, which we all need that in fantasy basketball.
Here's the ones that I've heard that I think are likely, okay? Ben Simmons goes to Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox has to come back for the contracts to work. Mm-hmm. De'Aaron Fox is going to be your starting point guard. I don't think Fox and Maxey play well together. The shooting just isn't there, okay? Yeah. That's going to hurt Maxey. If Ben Simmons goes to Portland, I'll be honest. I know I'm on the sell high, but I don't think they can get Dame Lillard for him. That doesn't make any sense to me. I do think they can get C.J. McCollum. So then C.J. starts at the 2, Maxey starts at the 1. It takes a little bit of his usage away, but he's probably just fine. Yeah. That would really hurt Seth Curry, if anything. If Ben Simmons gets traded to Minnesota and it's for D'Angelo Russell, I think they could work, right? It's not. Ben Simmons being traded is not the worst scenario. But remember, okay, go back to my number one point. Maxey's at an all-time high. But he's not. Anyone coming back is still a healthy player playing.
I get that, but I'll say this. We are talking about trades that happen if Ben Simmons gets traded. This could be, nothing could happen. We could be in this stall game for the rest of the year. It could be. So we could keep Maxey where he is, and you wouldn't want to trade Maxey away for Simmons away, and then have Maxey put on the bench and have it all those hypotheticals run through your head.
But my point is, for Tyrese Maxey, and I'm going to get to this. In fact, I'm going to go to my next point. No, I'll say this first. For Tyrese Maxey to be as good as he's been, that 34th, 35th best player, all of the things have to go right for him. If any of these things start changing, now he's the 50th best player. Now he's the 60th best player. And let me show you what I mean by that, okay? If the Sixers are healthy, he's probably the 50th best player, not the 34th, okay? If the Sixers are healthy and they trade Ben Simmons and bring back a C.J. McCollum, now Maxey's probably the 70th best player, okay? And look at this. His minutes per game. are at 36.5. That is the 10th highest number in the NBA. He can't go up. Maxey cannot go up from here. This is literally the ceiling. You can't play more than 36.5 minutes per game. It's just not possible. Also, I don't care how young you are. If you're playing 36 minutes per game, that's an injury risk, okay? Especially if you're playing that on back-to-backs. Tyrese Maxey, I'm not saying he's bad. I think he's a good player, but he's capped out, okay? I also didn't talk about the shooting. So, unsustainable shooting. Last year, in a whole season, he shot 33% from three. This year, he's shooting 38.6%. I rounded it up to 39, okay? I don't think he got 6 points better as a shooter, okay? I think that he is such a dynamic driver that because of that, he's been getting a lot of open shots. People are going under screens.
Absolutely.
And he's been getting that. So when the Sixers are healthy, okay, and his driving threat might be clogged up by Embiid being in the paint, I don't think that the odds are likely that he's going to shoot 39% from three for the rest of the season. I think it's going to come down. So this, again, all these things. I'm not saying Maxey's bad, but if you can get a top 30, top 40 player value for him, or include him in a 2-for-1 where you're trading Maxey and someone else that's solid, like a top 50 player, to try to get a top 20 player, man, I'm going to pull the trigger on that because I don't see how he can stay as good as he's been. Any parting thoughts from you, Mike?
No, I like what you're saying about I think if we're going to agree here, the shooting thing would definitely be something to agree on. 33% last year is probably a telltale sign. He'll trend down to that. If teams are underplaying him under screens, I think it's giving him more looks. But just to counter that, though, say they start overplaying him, that's going to give him more drive opportunities.
Yeah.
What he looks for.
And this goes back to he's a good player. Like we're not. This is not argument. Is he garbage? Right? He's a good player.
Will he sustain?
Is he a top 30 player? No, he probably isn't. What I put up here is I put some players just so that people in the chat can hear this. Also, if you're in the chat, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We got more videos coming like this. But, okay, if you have an opportunity to trade for this player, what do you think? If I'm going to trade for Jonas Valanciunas, can I trade Tyrese Maxey for Jonas Valanciunas? I'm going to go ahead and do that, okay? Jonas last year was the 35th best player. He was really good, and he's in an increased role. I don't believe Zion can stay healthy. I'm going to smash that, okay? I want the guy who's guaranteed, even with Zion coming back, Jonas is going to be the starter. Anthony Edwards for Minnesota, the Ant-Man. I would that's really hard. I think Ant-Man and Maxey are actually rest of season, probably similar value. Nikola Vucevic, if you can get Vucevic, go ahead and trade Maxey for him. If you can get Sabonis, go ahead and trade Maxey for him. Here's the cut line, though. I'm holding Maxey over Mike Conley. I like the fact. I like the fact that Maxey's like 13, 14 crazy years younger than him. I like the fact that Maxey's got more upside. Conley rests the back-to-back. So those are some ideas, right? 3 out of 5 of those were going to hit send. 2 of them were like, I don't know. And then Mike Conley, I'm not. Okay, guys. Do you like this stuff? We're trying different formats. If you want me to roast your team, go ahead and put your roster. Remember, whenever you put a roster or ask me a question, tell me if it's like 12 leagues or 14 teams and what your scoring is, okay? What player would you like us to debate next? So we just did the Tyrese Maxey. What player would you like to see? Let me know in the comments section. And if you're in the Dallas area, today's Thanksgiving, we're going to be throwing a NBA watch party the Monday after next. So not this week, but next Monday, we're going to have a watch party. Hit me up in the comment section. I'll get you a free ticket to that.
Joss has also promised to invite the 2 Indiana fans that were rejected by LeBron James last night on Monday. So we'll enjoy getting to see them and hearing from them.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you next time. Fantasy Basketball out.